This is One on One. Steve Adubato here at the Liberty Science Center. But I'll tell you, tonight's a great night. It is the gala, the annual gala of the New Jersey Sharing Network, celebrating the 30th anniversary of this great organization. Our friend Joe Roth is here as with the president and CEO. Joe, big night tonight because?
Well, it's our 30th anniversary of existence as an organ procurement organization. Saving and enhancing lives for 30 years, it's just tremendous.
How'd you get hooked up in this in the first place? I knew you from a different life in the corporate world, and how did you come into this?
Oh, it's a long story, but you know, organ donation was something in my DNA that my father created when I was a kid, and he saw the first heart transplant in South Africa and said, if I die, you can donate anything you want. And this was in the 60s.
He told you this as a kid, when you were a kid?
Yeah, as a kid. So it wasn't a foreign thing to me. It was something, and I had a science background. You know, I was a graduate student in neurosciences, so biomedical research, so it wasn't foreign to me. And the opportunity came up. I knew the Sharing Network, learned about the Sharing Network through work I did in the pharmaceutical industry, and the opportunity came to apply for a job, and I've been here almost 20 years now. So
the most rewarding part of not just the celebrating of the 30 years, Joe, but the 30 years of saving lives.
It's just been tremendous. You know, we started as a small organization with 54 people. We're now 180 strong. Over the 30 years, we've facilitated almost 12,000 transplants.
12,000.
12,000. So we've really grown, and we've saved a lot of lives, but it's not enough because people keep getting listed for transplants every day, and it's just, we can't keep up. There are 4,000 people in New Jersey who are waiting, and over 120,000 people nationally who are waiting for a transplant. Our goal is eventually to get to a point where we can at least stop the deaths while people are waiting, and get people transplanted as they need it. We hope that's going to be here in the next 5 to 7 years.
You know, we've been part of a public awareness initiative for several years now. My colleague Joanna Gagas, over on her series Life and Living, everything that we do at the Caucus Educational Corporation has been dedicated to this effort in terms of public awareness of organ and tissue donation. Joe, what is, would you say, the number one message, other than saying, hey, we want you to give the gift of life, be in a position to do that, what is the number one message you want to send to people, particularly those who are maybe confused about this process?
You shouldn't be afraid of it. You shouldn't be afraid to list yourself as an organ donor, because less than 1/10 of 1% of the people who put their names on a donation list ever become organ donors. But the fact that if a tragic event happens to you and you could save multiple lives, up to 8 people can be saved by a single organ donor, then you can at least pay it forward in terms of how you impact another person's life. So don't be afraid of it. It's not going to hurt you. Don't be superstitious. None of the urban legends are true, and you should do what's right. It's a very generous gift.
Joe talks about the gift, and one of the things they'll be doing inside when we have this great event that I'm proud to host tonight is meeting survivors, family members of those who gave the gift of life to others, and you interact with those folks more than anyone else. What is that like for you?
Well, it's very rewarding to meet these people, to know that through their grief and anguish, they made the right decision to help save other people's lives. They're such wonderful, beautiful, giving people and they become volunteers and very active with our organization. And
some are on your board.
Yes, and so we're so glad that we can support them through their grief, but also what they give to us is a wonderful feeling of fulfillment in our work because of what they've done. So it's tremendous.
You know, it's one of the things, finally, Joe, one of the things that strikes me is that many of these folks, by the way, we'll be interviewing them here tonight on the red carpet, and the carpet is in fact red, is that they'll often talk about the pain of losing a loved one, and I'm not going to call it joy, but the reward and the satisfaction of knowing that they are, in fact, or their loved one has given so much to someone else, right?
And that's what happens. You know, the grief never goes away. I mean, even it's tough when somebody loses a child, but even when they lose a husband or a sister or wife, whatever, the grief never goes away. But by working with the Sharing Network, we believe it helps them come to some closure in their grief and get some fulfillment and some meaning out of their loss. And that's what we try to do.
Thank you, and congratulations, Joe.
You're welcome, Stephen. Thank you so much for what you do for us, so thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by St. Joseph's Health, Berkeley College, the New Jersey Education Association, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the law firm of Gibbons PC, NJ Best, and by Adler Aphasia Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.